All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our Hill Country Happy Hour. Welcome to everyone who is joining us live right now, and thank you to everyone who saved this or is coming back to watch it later on. My name is Kate LaFleur. I am the Communications Coordinator for the Texas Hill Country Wineries Association, and I'll be helping to host this virtual happy hour this evening alongside a few others that I will introduce to you here shortly. Just to give you a little background on our happy hour series, THCW started hosting the live happy hour events early last year. And it's really been a great way for us to connect with all the Texas wine lovers, share information, and see each other during this crazy time where we maybe don't get to do as much connecting as we normally do. Over the last 9 months, we've hosted 18 happy hours now. With a different group of THCW member wineries talking about a variety of different really interesting topics. To kick off the new year, we've actually invited our 2020 Texas Hill Country Wine Industry Scholarship recipients to join us and celebrate their achievements. Normally, we get to do this award ceremony in person at our annual symposium event, but we are so happy to have everybody here virtually where we can learn a little bit more about each one of our recipients and congratulate them virtually and in person. Please feel free to ask any questions you might have in the comments here on Facebook, and we will relay them to the group throughout our evening. Joining me tonight to introduce you to 8 of this year's awards recipients and share their stories about how they got interested in Texas wine, their education, and their future in the industry is David Culkin, our THCW 2020 president. And before we get started learning a little bit more about everybody, I just wanted to give you a little background about the scholarship program in general with THCW. The Texas Hill Country Wine Industry Scholarship Program is actually in conjunction with Texas Hill Country Wineries, a nonprofit trade association. The scholarship committee awards academic scholarships to Texas residents enrolled in a Texas-based school or college program related to the wine industry. And then scholarships are awarded to graduating high school seniors and or college students in a related industry program. The Texas Hill Country Wine Scholarship began in 2016 as a way for THCW to give back and focus on future growth of our industry through the next generation. And main funding for the scholarship awards comes from 3 of our passport events that we do with THCW, where $5 from each ticket sold is marked for the fund. Profits from grower winemaker field days and our annual golf tournament or other events, fundraiser events, are also included in the scholarship award fund. Throughout years, other industry members and associations have donated to the general awards, Ken Maxwell Memorial Scholarship and the Texas Wine Community Scholarship Awards. In 2016, the committee reviewed recommendations from the membership for recipients and awarded $6,000 to 2 students and the Melanie Holloway Memorial Fund. In 2017, $11,000 was awarded to 12 students. In 2018, $10,000 was awarded to 9 students, including the Ken Maxwell Memorial Scholarship. And in 2019, $12,500 was awarded to 9 students. And then, of course, for 2020, we're awarding $9,500 to 10 students, which is very exciting. And we're so happy to have 8 of you guys here this evening with us. All right, so I will turn it over to David to start talking to a couple of you so we can get to know a little bit more about you.
Welcome, y'all. I'm so excited, and honestly, it's an honor every year to get to be, or the years I get to be part of this, because I've been with the association long enough to watch a number of people who have received this scholarship actually take on roles throughout the industry. And I mean, it's it's just great to watch because this is the generation that'll make, you know, the next set of Texas wines or be bringing Texas wines out into the market. And it's incredible to see. So I'm really excited to see all of you all today because I'm hoping to see all of you at different points in the industry as we go forward. Just to give you a little background, I am the president of the association. It's sort of a rotating honor. So it's something that I will only be for a few more weeks, but otherwise my day job is helping to run Pedernales Cellars, one of the wineries out here in the Hill Country. What I want to do tonight, I guess, is really just get a chance to let each of you introduce yourselves and, you know, find out a little bit about you, find out a little bit about what inspired you to apply for this and what your goals are in, you know, going forward in the grape growing and wine industry. And so what I'll do is I'm going to kind of just go and one at a time here. I'll let you do that introduction. Since if nothing else, I'm going to go by the list that I've got here from Kate. I'm going to start here with Aaron. So if you want to unmute yourself, Aaron, and dive in here, maybe introduce yourself, talk about what school, like where you're from, what school you're either currently enrolled in or been enrolled in, and what your path is, what you're looking to do.
Sure. Hello, and thank you for having me. This is awesome and a blessing too. It covered my tuition, so thank you very much. So yes, my name is Aaron Essery. I am from East Texas, a little small town outside of Tyler. That's where I grew up. I'm currently enrolled at Texas A&M University, second year master's student. So I'm hoping to graduate this May. Funny enough, before enrolling in A&M, I actually worked in the industry for about 2.5 years. Before that, I was just a regular undergraduate student at Stephen F. Austin, and I studied plants. And it was plants that really kind of drew me to the vineyard. And I just, that's how I got into it, I guess you could say. I just love the vineyard. I did the viticulture certificate at Texas Tech University in Hill Country, completed that, kept working, and then found my way to A&M and enrolled in master's program here, working in enology. So I guess it's the plants that really drew me in, and I enjoy it a lot. And I would really like to start my own, honestly and truly. I want to buy some land and just plant a vineyard and get after it. You know, make it a lifelong journey.
That's fantastic. Aaron, when do you finish your master's program?
Hopefully this year, hopefully in 5 months.
Okay. Yeah. Well, fantastic. So you're near that point where you can start making those first steps, or at least first, you know, like sort of post-school steps into that. Obviously, you've been taking plenty, it sounds like.
Yeah,
so.
I'm excited. But again,
awesome.
Thank you very much. And thank you. I noticed Pedernales Cellars is on the return address for the bottle of wine. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're excited to have you, like, if you will, sort of in this family of recipients, because it, like I said, we with each of you, it's like you're part of that future. It sounds like you've already like learned a lot on this path, and I'm excited to see what you do next. So I hope you do get out there and actually start that vineyard, but you know, get involved here in the industry. There's a lot of opportunity, so it's exciting.
Thank you again.
Well, thanks, Aaron. Okay, well, so I'm gonna move on to let's see, Brynja Matthews, and like I said, same here. Let's unmute yourself. Congratulations, but tell us a little bit about yourself, Brynja.
Awesome. Well, my name is Brynja Matthews. I am a senior at the college, Hilton College, yeah. And my major is beverage marketing and management. And the reason why I got into the wine industry, preferably Texas, I was interested in that. I had great professors that taught deeply in depth about wine, and I just developed a deep passion for it and wanted to learn and know more about the wine industry and how could I bring a change into the wine industry as well. I do have a background in technology, so my goal for the wine industry is to merge tech and wine together. And I want to develop an app that will just creatively bring people together, give a different experience as far as learning grapes, different wines, and such. So I'm excited to be a part of this scholarship, and thank you for picking me. It's an honor. And I'm also working with a perfect pairing um, group or organization as such. Learning more about the soils and learning more about the grape varietals and the climate change and just learning a lot. And again, like we just started this month and I'm learning a lot and just taking it in and just processing and just bringing a change and to people. I know COVID has hit a lot of great businesses and overall, I would just want to just bring a change virtually to people. That way they can just have the same experience socially. So that's a little bit about me.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm really excited to have you, like, choosing a path in this industry, and hopefully can be one of those voices to kind of educate people and connect people in this, because that's one of the great things about what we do is it connects a lot of people through various different experiences, whether it's on the wine consumer side or of course on the industry side back here with what I do, at least on production. But it's, yeah, like some of the most exciting stuff is what you're looking at doing, is just really kind of getting people engaged and getting involved in teaching and everything else. So I'm excited.
I like that's important. I mean, we want to keep people together, keep people together during this crazy time. And wine, honestly, just brings a lot of people together. So,
Yeah.
Or beverage in general.
Yeah.
Wine and food, it's the best way to bring people together.
Yeah.
Wine pairing is the way to go. So
Yeah, we all have enough very serious things in our lives sometimes to deal with. Wine, food, and discussion on that kind. It's a nice relief, I think, for almost anybody. So, well, fantastic.
Yes,
well,
awesome. Thank you.
Again, so glad you could be part of this, and thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll come back, by the way, at the end, everybody, and like we'll kind of open it up a little bit more. If you guys have, honestly, if you have questions for each other, but you have questions for me, questions for January and Kate, we're going to kind of just have a chance at that point to do a little of that. And so, if anything comes up, feel free to sort of log that question, and then we'll kind of go and talk a little bit more as a group. But first, let's go through and let everybody kind of do their introduction here. And I think I'm going to go down the list. Next is Cassie Hutchinson. If you want to unmute yourself, Cassie, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And I mean, thank you again for the scholarship. This, yes, is like my third year, I believe. Yes. And so this has been a really big blessing for me. And honestly, it's kind of becoming like a family. And I really like that. And I love January and all of you. But I am a freshman PhD student, and I just graduated from Texas Tech in the spring. I'm studying horticulture, but I actually chose my research already, and it is focusing on like the wine and consumer research, more with like the economic side of things. And that's where I really want to specialize, is becoming like a Texas wine economist. And so I know it's kind of like a niche area, but I'm really interested in it, and I'm really excited about my research. It's obviously still in the beginning stages, but in hopefully 4 years, I'll be coming out with some useful, studies, and hopefully it can help the Texas wine industry. That's my ultimate goal with all of this. And right now, currently, I'm actually in the next month about to take my WSET level 3. So I'm kind of nervous about that, but I'm also really excited because I'm learning so much about wine right now, and I'm just kind of like diving head first still. So I'm very excited to be a part of the Texas wine industry. It's a really unique group of people.
Yeah.
I've learned. Y'all are really special. So that's what I'm up to right now.
That's fantastic. So you said 4 years is like at least what you would forecast for finishing the program?
Yeah, I skipped my master's, so I'm going into my PhD with like a 96-hour PhD instead. And like 4 years is my goal. It could be 5, but people who know me know that I like to skip things and I like to like power through things. So I'm going to try my best, and I want to get the research out as soon as possible,
No, that's fantastic. So is that with like that kind of research, is that something that you collaborate like who are the collaborators for that kind of work? Is that mostly academic or industry or who?
I've talked to a lot of people, obviously in the industry, but I mostly right now I'm under, well, Dr. Shiner at A&M and Dr. Bonizatu at A&M are some of my advisors, also same as Aaron. And then I also talked to some of the older professors I had at Texas Tech, who are in like the wine tourism sector a little more. And I'm just trying to keep, all my contacts that I built at Texas Tech, and now I'm making new ones at A&M. But I want to get in contact with more like vineyard owners and winery owners in the Hill Country to really see like what they need research, like with, I don't know, the changing world of selling wine,
Well, the association can be a good contact point in general for that. So like, if nothing else, remember, like reach out to Kate and to January because they have our attention always and can always aggregate groups. And that goes for anybody here in this group. I mean, that's one of the things we hope the scholarship program can be also is this can be like a sort of an access point for you to try to reach out, whether it's about jobs or whether it's about research. This is one of this is, to me at least, the premier collection of real wine producing, both growers and winemaking operations here in Texas. So again, Kate and January are really the ones that actually make people actually get together and respond and collaborate. So they're the ones to really go to. So
yeah, and reach out anytime. We're here for all of you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Again, but congratulations, and that sounds awesome. Looking forward to seeing what you can produce. So.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. Very excited.
All right. Well, let's go on through the list. We've got Rogelio Orosio. Am I saying that right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Good. Tell us a little about yourself and what you're doing and what you're planning on.
Right. So my name is Rogelio Rosio. I'm from a small town in North Texas called Munster. I'm a junior at Texas Tech right now, getting my bachelor's degree in viticulture and enology. Pretty much how I got the Texas wine industry was at the age of 18. I got hired on at a small up and coming winery called 4R Ranch in Munster, and alongside with Will Johnson, who happens to be my mentor through this entire journey of like winemaking and grape growing, and just kind of fell in love with the industry in its entirety. And like the main focus that I like is like the chemistry aspect of the wine industry, just like seeing how you can make something from nothing and just continue to enhance the flavor and quality of something. Hopefully pretty soon I can graduate from Texas Tech University, buy some land, and establish my own winery here in Texas.
Fantastic. And so you've had a chance to intern, I guess, is it with 4R? Is that the name?
Yes, that was where I got my start. I actually interned with Montgomery Vineyards, where I currently work right now.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. And so are you working with them in the cellar and the vineyard, or both?
Yes, sir, in both.
Yeah. Well, that's
was actually a pretty fun time.
Yeah.
Everything that he knows.
Yeah. No, Daniel is fantastic, and they're one of, like I said, we've been probably buying grapes from them for 10 years now. So it's been fantastic to watch that grow, and that's just one of the many families that have really built out something huge here in Texas. But that's great. So, well, I hope I see you in person at some point. At if you're still up there, one day we'll actually be seeing people in person in this industry. So
hopefully, getting the scholarship.
No, we're really excited to have you as part of the recipient list. Thank you. And again, looking forward to seeing you in the industry. I hope you can go down that path, obviously, of really starting your own thing. That's certainly ambition for a lot of people, and it's doable if you just kind of build up all the experience and put together the network you need for it. So,
sure, thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to go on now. Let's introduce Quincy Reynolds. Unmute and let's find out a little bit about you, what you're doing, and where you're from, what school, and what your plans are.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. As you said, my name is Quincy Reynolds. I'm actually from Washington State, small little town, but I grew up going to Walla Walla at least once a year. So kind of like Aaron talked about, when you grow up really surrounded by the viticulture and the plants, you get really invested. And when I moved here and started attending the University of Houston's Conrad and Hilton College, Renee can also attest, we have a fantastic selection of wine appreciation professors who really know what they're doing and make you invested in it. And so during my time here in Houston, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different companies, all of whom who have had to have fantastic connections in the wine industry to really make those events hit home, because as we were saying, there's no better way to a person's heart than with some good wine and some good food. So I'm really looking forward to carrying on those connections as I graduate. I'm currently in the second year of my MS MBA program here at the University of Houston. So really fostering those business connections, both in the hospitality world and in the wine industry, is what I'm looking forward to when I graduate.
Cool. And so for an MS MBA, is that it normally is a 2-year program, right? Or is
It's normally a 3-year. However, I completed the majority of my master's courses in my final year of undergrad. Cassie and I have that in common. We like to skip things.
Well, fantastic, fantastic. So you, I mean, do you have a sense of like a media plan of what you want to do when you graduate, or is you still working on what that'll be?
Still working, although my primary interest in my research right now is in data analytics. So really finding out how that can help both distributors and purchasers in the wine industry is what I'd really like to use it for.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, good deal. Good deal. Well, all right. And then we'll switch and talk to or introduce Zen Brown, who's joining us as one of our recipients.
I'm Zen Brown. I'm from Mineral Wells, Texas. This is almost a second career for me, really. I started the Enology and Viticulture Certificate program at Texas Tech, which happens to be my undergrad, but I came in and did this. I started about 18 months ago now, I guess. So I'm almost done with the winemaking or enology certificate. Actually, I am done with that one. And I have, I think, 3 more classes in the viticulture certificate program. I've had to, due to COVID, I had to miss a couple of like field days and whatnot. So we're having to make those up this summer. So my real plan is to, Mineral Wells has been kind of experienced quite a bit of growth over the last 18 months. And it's my hometown, so I decided to come back. I invested in a bar about 2 years ago. And then now I wanted to put a wine bar and winery in Mineral Wells. I've been making wine now for almost 7 years. Kind of got bit by the hobby bug. And then I was like, well, this is fun. Let me kind of move on and do this some more. And then I've kind of ramped up, and I met a bunch of y'all through the symposiums and through Twiga. And I decided to like formalize it by going through the certificate program. And so that's where I'm at. Next step probably is I'm hoping to get down and get some more hands-on experience with some wineries and vineyards. There's a couple up here that I've been working with on and off again. Like Dove Ridge is just right outside, or about 30 minutes from me. And I've actually had the pleasure of working with Daniel Collado a lot with Vinovium. He's helped me out quite a bit over the last year and a half. We're actually one of the only wine tap programs up here in the North Central Texas area. So,
yeah.
So we're doing that, and that's really it. I mean, I'm hoping to the next step is like a wine bar, like a tasting room, maybe here in downtown Mineral Wells. And we have the largest historical renovation project in the U.S. right now. So, hopefully, trying to get in first before everybody kind of catches up to us, and then we'll go from there. So
I like how you said, though, that's about all it, or that's it. But I mean, you listed a winery, a wine bar, a like wine certificate class. Like, yeah, you got
not like you're busy or anything.
Yeah,
and all of that.
Yeah.
All of that. I've been, I said second career. I've been practicing law now for almost 12 years. So this is kind of like my split off.
So that isn't it. You actually,
yeah. But I really do want to thank y'all. It's been really, really helpful. The scholarship's been great. Meeting everybody over the last couple of years has been awesome. And I got to be honest, David, this Pedernal Cellars wine tonight is my first glass of wine in almost like 7 weeks, because unfortunately I contracted COVID about 8 weeks ago, and I just now got my sense of taste and smell back. So I never wanted to do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't have any. I couldn't taste the wine. So
I'm glad you got it back. We've actually had some folks working for us that are still in that place where sense of smell and the taste is still gone. So
Yeah.
for all of you who have not contracted COVID, I count myself in this, don't get it.
Yeah.
That is not that you needed that advice. That's not useful advice, but it is. Yeah, that's awful. Well, I'm glad that it was. That was the extent of it, at least, and you're here with us today. Yeah,
I'm thankful
it'd
for
be
that.
rough.
So.
Well, again, good luck on all that. If you're ever down in this area, look us up. Like I mean, said, we're like, and this goes for all of y'all. Come by. If you don't already have my contact information after tonight, I know that January will give it to you and Kate will give it to you. But you guys are always welcome to drop by. Even in these days, we can do social distance stuff and talk. But like I said, if you're getting into the industry on the production side, I'm probably more useful because I can at least give you the good, bad, and ugly of what that looks like. So
I appreciate that.
All right, so looks like Olivia is not with us, right? Correct. Okay.
Correct.
So we'll jump into Tyler Lowry. You want to jump in here and tell us about yourself and why you decided to apply for the scholarship and what you've been doing, what school you've been at. Give me your story.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tyler. I've been honored to have this scholarship for the third time. I feel like I'm a part of this family now. I wish we could have been in Horseshoe Bay this year. Always a good time. And also, sorry for my background. I tried to make it home, but I could not get off work in time. So I'm sitting on a county road in Terry County right now. So thank y'all again. I work at a drip irrigation company located in Brownfield, Texas. Kind of the heart of Texas wine grapes, I guess. I work with a lot of vineyard owners and growers and managers and all that good stuff. And my passion for the industry kind of came up, I guess, about 5 years ago because I'm going to graduate in May. Just got my email today that I am going to graduate. So I always had a passion for agriculture, and I started seeing these vineyards popping up, and it just really intrigued me. And so I decided to go back to school when I was 23, and I decided I wanted to go for viticulture and enology. My goals for the future, I hope to work with growers and winemakers. I want to be more on the production side of growing the wine grapes. I would love to consult with growers, design and install vineyards, help with processes in the field, if you will. I love being outdoors, and I do like some good wine too. Unfortunately, I don't have your bottle with me because I'm at work in my vehicle.
Yeah.
But I will enjoy it later.
Perfect. That's the right answer, by the way, as you sit in your car coming back from work by the side of the road. So, well, that's fantastic. So you're graduating in May. You, like I said, we're gonna see you somewhere in a vineyard or in the industry somewhere soon.
Y'all will be seeing me around whether you want to or not.
Perfect. That's definitely what we want to hear.
Yes, sir.
Well, good deal.
I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're excited for you, and we're excited for having all of y'all as recipients this year. It is exciting just to see such a good range of different fields that people are taking, whether it's on the research side, folks looking to really connect with consumers, growers, starting wineries. I mean, this is why the scholarship funds really got started, is to see that whole ecosystem and that whole business of the Texas wine industry grow into all the places it needs to. And so I'm really excited to see this group, all these faces that I plan to see the next 10, 20 years in this business. So with that, we do have John Ravenberg is with us as well. Hi, John.
Hi, John.
We've had a chance to introduce everybody. I believe we're actually at a chance now to toast everybody. Well, actually, no, before we get to the toast, Kate, do you want to jump in and ask any of the recipients any questions, like before we go to that?
Yeah, I think, through all the introductions, we got to learn. My main question was kind of what your main goal was in the wine industry as you went along your journey. And I think we got to hear a little bit about that from each one of you. But like David mentioned, it's really cool to see all the different aspects of this industry represented in all the things that you guys want to do. I think for any students or anyone aspiring to get into this industry that might be watching this or tuning in later, it's really inspiring to know that there's all these different paths and roads to be taken to get into this industry, which is a really exciting one here in Texas. So thank you guys. It's a pleasure to learn about you and to be a part of all of this. So we appreciate it. Before we do the toast, I was going to ask David and John if you guys, with all of your experience that you have, wanted to say a few words or give a little bit of advice for these wonderful students or anyone going along a similar journey into this industry, what your thoughts would be.
Well, John, first, since I don't let you introduce yourself, I'm gonna make you go first on this.
Okay, I guess I should probably introduce myself and apologize for my tardiness. I will say, welcome to being a winery owner. This is the path in which you guys are going down, whether you're growing grapes or you are making wine. In any capacity, you're going to be perpetually late to most things. So just get prepared for that, first and foremost. I would like to congratulate each and every one of you guys on all the hard work and being selected for these scholarships. It's really great. It's fantastic to see the industry growing. As somebody who does a lot of mentoring in our industry, both to young and old and new and long-term producers, it's really neat to see some folks coming behind us to help kind of strengthen and grow everything that guys like David and I have put forth the foundation for. I will say I'm going to, except for my little sister, Olivia, I'm very proud of her and what she's done. She is one of the recipients, but she's at work. I went full taskmaster today, and we decided to start doing some filtration and some inventory and some rearranging. And so they're still in the cellar. I 100% just realized what time it was and ran home to get here with you guys. So I guess if I had any kind of words of wisdom, just understand that this is a passion of love. I didn't understand when I was most of y'all's age, when much smarter and older people told me, if you find something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But that's the truth. It really is. Even on the worst days of my career, I have to remind myself that I get to make wine for a living. I get to make a product that people share in happiness and in sorrow. And it brings a special connection to people in the world. And so we're very lucky that we get to do that. And we're very lucky that we get to make the friends that we have. David and I have been friends. It's hard for me to believe, probably almost a decade now. And, in January, I've known as long. And Kate, I'm getting to know now. And it's a really cool and very special thing that we get to do. That being said, it's also really, really hard work. So get ready to work 3 times as hard as you will at anything else. But it will be the most rewarding thing you've ever done in your life. So yeah. If that's about all the inspiring words I have at this point.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, we can go all over the place. I almost think it's more useful, like, if at some point you guys can ask questions of either John or I to try to explain any part of how we got in this industry or how we think the industry is working for us and where there's opportunities. I will say, being an industry that, even in the lifetime of it, I've been in it, so about 15 years, has grown from a fairly small place to a much bigger place, it's constantly like an exploration. There's always new opportunities, but it is a lot of uncharted territory. So a lot of the paths that people are talking about, like y'all going through talking about your plans, some of them are maybe a little more clearly like delineated. Others, you guys are really trying to blaze your own path. And all I can really say is that definitely do it. You're gonna fail all over the place, and that's actually fine, because that is how you're gonna figure out that something that works. The great thing is that there are a lot of people in this industry that want to see you succeed, and if you have the courage to just reach out and kind of force them to answer, sometimes maybe they're busy and maybe they're hard to reach, but they're actually, you can get them engaged. They really will help. You can really build a network in this business if you're patient, if you're hardworking, and you kind of get into it. The other thing I'll offer for everybody here is that there is no easy path. Like, I mean, I guess if anybody has, like $10 million to plop down, maybe that's an easy path. But short of that, you're just going to get what you want to do by just working, getting the experience, and, building that and building on top of it. Like most everybody who's in this business just has had to work their way through it. So like, I've got a winemaker in the cellar who was one of the scholarship recipients 4 years ago and started getting paid $10 an hour to work in the vineyard, and that if you work at it, if you can prove that you're really willing to put in the hours, like John's saying, there are a lot of real opportunities to do, because this is the kind of business where you do need that academic part of what you guys are doing in school, but you also just need real life hard work in the business to understand where the opportunities are and where your skill set's best fit. So just stick with it. Like, it doesn't matter if it looks like you're failing. We are failing all the time. John and I can list them off, like, just in the last week. So that's how it goes. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys are already proven a lot by what you've done as it is. So, well, can we toast?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is a happy hour, right? Tyler, just pretend. There you go. All right.
I brought some water.
John, you want to do the honors? You're going to be the president soon. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. No, I have not forgotten, David. Trust me.
Oh, you're muted, John.
Good thing I was muted. I will make this short and sweet. Here's to a very bright future for every one of you in the Texas wine industry or wherever in the world your education takes you. Here's to 2021 and a vibrant and love-filled future. Salute.
Salute, y'all. Congratulations to all of you.
And sorry, I didn't get my Pedernales bottle of wine, so I'm having to drink bourbon, David. I was left out of the the shipment.
Yeah. You know where I live, so.
I do. You're right. I do.
All right. Well.
Oh, you're looking good with that.
Like, okay.
By the way.
I was just going to ask everyone, since we've toasted, if there are any questions for David or John that you wanted to ask, or any comments or anything while you have the chance.
John, how did you get your start in the industry?
So I got my start in the industry through family. I grew up in hill country, and in my family I've got an old German family, and my grandfather brewed beer and he distilled spirits, and they made wine to use as a base product for a lot of things they were doing. So, as a hobby, complete hobby, I had a really great job, corporate construction. And my former father-in-law, Bob Young, came to me and he said, I think we should start And I wish it was much more romantic or interesting factor than that. And I've been very blessed to be kind of like a duck to water. And I had done well enough to where I had a little bit of a nest egg and felt comfortable backing away from that career and starting in the wine business. So I planted a little 1/4-acre vineyard and of Cabernet and Tannat. I'll give you 2 guesses which one's better. And David, yeah, no, and then you know there Tannat, by the way, if you was wondering. And then from there, we jumped in. Had the opportunity to go out to California, do a little work out there, and kind of learn craft. And how much like you, I started out I was a good business guy. I was going to grape growing. I wanted to farm and then just do kind of operations. And consultant early on said, "Man, you got kind of a knack for the winemaking. You ought to be doing some of this too." And here we are, man. I mean, it's really been 15 years later. That's a lot of hard work and lots of wins, lots of losses. It said, you know, I here and you know, by the grace of God, had a lot of great people around me. So really was that simple. That's got in. I wish I'd have gotten into it at all age, or like that's why I'm pushing my younger because you guys like David and I, the beauty of hindsight, share with you guys of where you guys can really be when you get to be our age in your early years, starting where you're at.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I had a question for John. I wanted to ask you, what sets you apart from other winemakers and other vineyards? I'm just curious.
Oh my goodness, what sets me apart? David, put mute on your thing here, David.
John's a fantastic self-promoter. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, here's what it is, right? When you do things well often and lots of time, you don't have to really be a huge self-promoter. But Rockefeller said you don't get anywhere by standing in the shadow. You get everywhere by being a self-promoter. So I've taken several of my friends in the wine business and no, I joke. I digress. I was going to say my smile, but that's not going to work. Build up. I think the thing that sets me apart is honestly one of the things that sets me apart is my drive to be doing something that's always a little different. You know, I was doing natural wine in 2010 when it weren't cool. I've now learned that I don't necessarily like making those wines because they don't make the best wines in my opinion. I've always tried to innovate. And as much as somebody who thinks I very highly of myself, I also think very highly of my peers. And I think something that sets me apart is I listen to my peers a lot more than people probably realize. And I take their advice. So I think that's something that sets me apart. You didn't expect that, did you?
No, not at all. But great. I love it. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
I have a question real quick for y'all, or both of y'all, whoever wants to answer, if you can. Since my research that I'm doing, I have 3 projects already that I'm starting on, but I want to know like what would be useful. In this sense, is there any marketing technique? And I know y'all aren't like on the storefront side of things, you're the winemakers, but like some crazy idea you had on like, well, what if we approach selling our wine this way, that you maybe want like a study done on, like to see, does this actually improve sales, or does this increase like a consumer's willingness to buy this wine? Because I have several ideas, but like I want to know what people in the industry maybe think. And if you don't have any, that's fine too. I'm just curious.
Well, I will tell you, Cassie, like we, you know, like in our business, we're both we're in distribution, and we do wine club, and we do tasting room, and being in all those places, I mean, like a really basic question that we're often asking is that, like, if I'm being honest, at our scale, being in distribution in Texas isn't about that's not where the money is made, right? Like that is not the business. We do all of that to try to build a brand. And I mean, like the $1 million question that we're often trying to answer is, for all those things we do, how well do they ultimately increase the value of the brand and the degree to which we connect with wine club customers? Because like as a product, it's all about building this relationship with the people who come to know our product. Ideally, they come out to the winery or they experience us in their own setting, right, at home with our wines. So like, we're often trying to figure out like the value of those things we do. Like if I'm going to put a wine into a restaurant, if I'm going to put a wine into an event, like how to, how to put a monetary or like a sort of a marketing connection value to that. Those are the big questions we try to answer, because again, everybody may be in distribution for different reasons, but a lot of the brands you see out there are really about trying to just maximize market penetration. That isn't our goal. Like I don't need to see 20,000 cases as opposed to 5,000, whatever I put out. It is that every single case of wine I put out there is to the greatest effect in terms of building the brand and connecting with people. So that is not, there's a lot of things you can sort of put sentences around that, try to understand what that means, but most of the Texas wineries, with maybe a couple exceptions, or if they're out there, that's the business they're in, and they're using whatever channels they're going to do it. So I don't have good tools to know what works or not. So it's often very like just, well, there's an opportunity here, we're going to try it. Let's see how it goes, but it's inefficient. Like I don't know how best to use those resources. We do have a very limited number of resources in terms of both our own time, but actually even the amount of wine we can use to accomplish. So.
Well, hopefully that's kind of where I want to come in. I'm trying to do the work for y'all in a sense, answer those questions. So I was very curious. Thank you. That was an excellent answer. That was amazing.
Well, and I mean, like I said, I will offer right now. I mean, if you're getting to where you're looking for, research study, like, sort of participants, happy to help. Like I said,
it's fantastic, because I'm definitely about to be there. Yes, exactly.
Right. I say, because we have plenty of data and we don't know what it means. So there you go.
I can help with that. That's my goal. So that makes me so happy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, for sure.
I try to steer as far away from the marketing portion of what we do as possible, quite honestly.
I understand that too. I completely understand.
My questions would be more geared towards a global view of Texas wines. I think a great marketing study would be how the effect of Texas fruit or 100% Texas fruit is viewed by our customer, or the importance of that to our public customer at this point. Like that would be something that I'd be very interested in.
Definitely. And there are some studies that I have seen and that I'm kind of working towards using that data for sure. Because I feel like that's a very common question as well that I've heard, is just like, do people really care if it's all Texas grown,
Yep.
And so I'm happy to try, and I'll come up with a good answer hopefully soon.
I would very much like to see that one. I think that would be something that would be worth knowing, because then we could actually like start to develop our brands towards knowing what the consumer really, really wants, right? Therein lies the biggest hurdle, right? What does the consumer really, really want, right? So we can figure that out, then we could pretty much make it easy on David and I. We'll know exactly what to produce, right?
Exactly. That's my goal. I really saw that there was a need, and I'm trying to fill that need.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I've got a question for you guys. Does anybody out there have, let me ask it, I'll throw this at all of our recipients. What do you guys see as the next great idea in Texas wine? That's a big one. Yeah, David, I heard you. Anybody can jump in. No wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. Because when I started, people laughed at me. I had a guy tell me, you're not going to do anything with these wines that nobody's ever heard of and without a wedding venue or making a sweet wine. That guy no longer is in business, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a whole. But seriously, does anybody have what they think might be the next great idea in Texas wine? There's not a wrong answer. This is truly. I'm curious to see what this is from anybody.
This could be a broad answer, but only from like the research I've done and from my perspective. I think the next big thing is for y'all to really start marketing towards the millennial, like the Gen X, Gen Y is coming up. In a sense, and I know, of course, I'm like talking from my area of expertise. I know a little bit about the winemaking and grape growing side too, but I think I know my generation, we really like clean, sustainable, produced stuff, and maybe making that a little bit more of the, known information to the consumer that like younger people like me might be more inclined to try it. That's one of my theories, but that's just me. I don't know. That's my answer.
So like sustainable, authentic representation.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, not going. I know organic. I even have my opinions on that. I don't think going fully organic is even necessary. Maybe just saying like water conservation practices, something with maybe like zero carbon footprint, stuff like that. It kind of sounds cheesy, but I think for the consumer in my generation, it works really well to draw us in right now. Logos like that, implementing like little practices. That's just kind of my guess. Maybe we'll see.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I came out of the green building world of commercial construction, so I was an eco geek long before it was a thing. I am a big proponent of that. I, over the years, have steered away from it being part of our outward marketing programs just because it seems to have created more controversy than it has benefit. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe now, y'all's generation is more apt to that. So that's something I will keep in mind on. That's good. Good to know.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your input too. Yeah.
And to Cassie's point, though, for our generation and what you were saying, it's not just having the label on the bottle, it's making sure you follow through. Because the big thing about millennials, Gen bottom of the alphabet going forward is that we're all very investigative. We have these tools to really research the companies that are advertising a good impact. And so if you don't follow through with that, we can tell right away.
Yeah. Well, yeah, authentic. Like that's what I was saying, is authentic in its nature. Yeah, I love that about your generation. I really do.
Well, I feel like some of what you guys are talking about too is just transparency, right? I mean, honestly, that really be honest and clear about what it is. Don't sort of patronize people with like sort of some sloganeering, as opposed to just being honest what you do and don't do, and hopefully that there's good values in what you're doing, right? So I think we sometimes fall down on that because we get too careful, I think, about what we want to say, because we're afraid of how it may appeal to one person to be really direct and clear and transparent about all the things that we do and what we do that's sustainable or not, and other people actually react to it, right? So, but no, I think you can make some great points, because I think you're speaking to at least a tendency for anybody who's younger to be, don't BS me. Just tell me what you really do, and if I believe in what you do, I'm interested in it. So
that's all good.
I have a question for you guys. How much is logistics or product availability for the vineyard side of things? How difficult, or how much of a need is there for that? Like, as far as I got to get my fruit from Brownfield to Fredericksburg, it's a pain in the butt. I need trellis material for my vineyard in Fredericksburg. I mean, is that a battle for you guys?
So the harvest logistics, absolutely, because it's so time critical and it requires a lot of communication, coordination, and expertise. So I mean, we act as, well, in the past, guys like John and I've had to do it too. We wind up being our own like logistics managers to coordinate everything. Only thing that's kind of gotten better, I think, is as things have scaled up, people have actually stepped in to provide that expertise like outside of us, so that we can just call them up and say, 24 hours, I've got a vineyard to harvest and fruit to move. Get me a truck and get it in the right place, and potentially coordinate with other vineyards that are picking it the same night, and all those things involved. On the other side, I mean, there's always a challenge. Just if you're smaller and you're in a place like we are, where we're often not close to the people who supply materials to this industry, it can be very expensive to bring things to Texas that we may need that are specialized for the vineyard industry. So that also is an area of need. It's just really how do you create enough consolidation and coordination to get those kinds of things from, whether it's from Europe or it's from the West Coast or wherever they're coming from, to us, without paying an exorbitant amount to get something that might otherwise be better, cheaper, if we were just, so to speak, in the right place. That's the right word for it. So,
Tyler, I would say logistics are, I think David and I both have built a career off of being good logistics managers. I think that, a good winemaker can figure out how to get fruit. In my opinion, in Texas, a great winemaker is one that figures out his or her logistics. As a consultant, people often laugh at me when I tell them that as you're starting out, two of the most important things for your business are going to be a flatbed trailer, and a good diesel pickup truck to pull it. And then they very quickly find out that no, he's right. There's always a need for things being moved. That being said, as the wine industry grows, the ancillary businesses that support what we do are going to be hugely necessary, right? So, starting a hotshot logistics company, whether it's trucking fruit or moving bins, I honestly make a fair amount of money every year driving bins up to the high plains before harvest starts and getting them logistically where they need to be for my clients. It's also, it's understanding where they need to be also as part of it. But I think that, like David said, as this industry grows, the more of those ancillary businesses that we have involved in what we do, the better and more quickly this industry can grow. I mean, for example, Tyler, like when David and I started, there were no wine cub, wine storage facilities. There was one mobile bottling truck. There was barely anybody who would truck your fruit down. And luckily, David and I both worked with Neil Newsom, who handled most all of the trucking. So we were very fortunate in that regard. And over the years, we've kind of all independently or kind of just, collaboratively have put these groups together that are helping do some of those things. And they've all been bred out of necessity, right? But are not any different than any other wine region that has grown, to the size that they are. California, nobody stores their own case goods. You don't build a case goods building in a California winery. It makes no sense to spend the money on the square footage when you get zero return, when you have a fulfillment house that can store your goods for you. So, I think what you're getting at is I think there's some definite need for some more fine-tuned kind of logistics help in the industry. If you want something from a guy who's been doing this a long time, I think there's probably some money to be made for somebody who's young and has the time to go out and put in the hours it takes to develop something like that, I think it could be a very lucrative business.
Thank you. I just can't help but feel like one infrastructure and logistics can be the Achilles heel to an industry as a whole.
Sure.
And I mean, it can make or break you. And I just wanted to get y'all's opinions on if there's room for development in that area of the industry, and you answered it perfectly. I appreciate that.
Tyler, I would say call me down in Kerrville at the co-op, because we've got 12 wineries all involved in navigating logistics. And if you're ever interested, I would gladly talk to you about my ideas for that business that I don't have time to put into play.
Sure.
So
yeah, I would love to talk to you sometime. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, our hour is pretty much up, but of course, January and I will share John and David's contact information with you, as we mentioned at the beginning. And if you weren't already a part of it before, you're a part of the family now. So you have a long list of people that are here in support of you and cheering you on as you go through this journey that you've started. And it's been such a pleasure to be with you all virtually and get to know a little bit more about you and what you're doing and what your plans are to be a part of this awesome growing industry that we have here in the Texas wine country. So thank you all again, everyone out there watching us tonight, whether you joined us live or you plan on watching later. Huge thank you to John and David for jumping on and helping us moderate this evening, and of course, all of our scholarship recipients. We hope you all will join us back here in February. We'll be celebrating National Drink Wine Day for another one of our virtual happy hours. In the meantime, don't forget to visit the THCW website and all of our social pages for information on visiting the Hill Country. And of course, more information on our Wine Lovers celebration that will be happening starting February 1st. Again, thank you all for joining.
Thanks, Ollie. Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
To see you soon.
Sorry for being tardy.